Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Got a late model fixed race for you
okay,
here.
Jake,
We
we've
are...
got 2 laps to set a decent time. Black flag, we'll need to pit to serve this penalty.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Got a late model fixed series race for you. Week 1, Season 1, 2022 at South Boston Speedway. Going out for qualifying right now. Going to try to put in a time, see if I can get myself somewhere towards the front and on the inside row to start. Am car number 3 in this race. Guess is probably got sent in the second split, but I guess it could be that week of a strength of field overall if I'm car number 3. So it's going to go out there, get one lap in. Not real quick, probably not going to put me very far up. I'm here 4th. So I want to see if I can improve that at all. Try to get myself into 3rd if possible. Don't think I'm going to get to the pole, as the pole was a 15.5. Not even going to get to... I ran such a slow lap. So I'm going to be starting on the outside. Going to be a tough restart, or a tough start on green to try to work my way down to the bottom. Hopefully I will not get freight trained. I'm going to try to find my best way around if I can. Just flat out got myself too tight, I would say. So probably would not have taken very much to get to 3rd place starting. 15.5.5 and 15.5.7 on the front row, 72, 73, 77 for the 4th, 3rd through 5th. We're all pretty tight. I feel like I could probably get myself into the 6s if I drive the way that I know that I can, instead of trying to, hustle the car like I was trying to in qualifying. Yeah, I probably should be a top 5 run at least. Don't think that should be an issue, barring getting freight trained really bad on the outside, or getting spun or something like that. Don't know if I'll have anything for the 1 or 2. Might be able to get by the 8 depending on how the race runs, if everything sorts out according to qualifying. So I think anywhere from probably 3rd to 5th, maybe 6th should probably be a attainable goal. And big one is going to be trying to keep the tires not worn out. I want to make sure that I don't wear out the right front, make it harder to turn in. Going to definitely be doing some brake bias adjustments throughout the race, as well as trying to slow the car down enough to really let it rotate. Setup feels a bit tight to me. And if you try to push too hard and you crank too much wheel into it, obviously you're going to wear out the right front, but you can create that push loose condition. So just going to do the best that I can to try to mitigate some of that. I'll show you what I've got really quick. I've got 10 to 1. I'm actually going to bring this down to plus 5 degrees. For the steering ratio, it was a little bit lower than I have run at times, but I think here with the tighter corners, it's going to work. Brake bias all the way back to 50%. And again, going to be planning on moving that throughout the race as well. Going to get session best lap pulled up here. To qualify 4th, just going to do the best that I can to try to look for the 8 to the inside. Either try to fall in behind them in 4th, or see if I can try to somehow clear them and get into 3rd. Don't think I'll be able to
50 laps.
Get by the 2 or the 1 off the start, unless they run side by side and get into each other. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, going to try to not lose too many spots off the start. It's going to be the probably one of the harder parts of the race, would be my guess, is not losing too much off the start. Going to uncheck the fuel just in case I happen to have to use a fast repair. Yeah, and hopefully the 2 will be able to get a somewhat decent start on the outside. It is always very tough to time it. I'm going to lay back a little bit because it looks like the 2 keeps running in front of the 1 and then checking up. So I don't want to be in a situation where I'm right on top of the 2 and then the 2's got to slam on the brakes and then I can't either stop or I run into it. So getting the green next time by, pace car will be pulling off. Just again, going to try to do the best that I can to keep with the 1 and 2 if possible. Try to get around the 8, not lose too many spots off on the start on the outside, and keep the nose clean. Try to go for a 0x if possible. and see if I can bring home a top 5 or a podium out of it. So pace car is going to be pulling in.
Nice and neat. Stay
One
out
takes a
front.
real early jump.
Go.
2 is able to fall in behind the 1, just going to run to the outside right now. 8 kind of washes up, just going to fall in behind him as I had a good gap back to the 11 and the 5, so no reason to try to contend for 3rd on the outside and possibly end up risking getting freight trains. Better to just settle in now and kind of just start riding. Going to try to make moves as soon as I can, but also not going to try to drive too aggressively off the start and wear out tires. Seems like 11 might have a little bit of pace as 11's breaking away from the 5. Keep an eye on the gap and see if I'm able to pull away from the 11 at all, if the 11's going to close up. It's all going to be a little bit about tire management, as well as if we get into lap traffic, trying to get around that as cleanly as possible. Looks like the 2's falling back from the 1 a little bit. 8 might be catching the 2 ever so slightly. So if that happens, would like to try to get myself as close to the 8 as I can so I can follow the 8 through on the inside. Pick up a spot that way if that does happen. Have to watch out as well for the 2 throwing some blocking on the 8 if the 8 does get there. Feel like I'm pulling away from the 11 a little bit. Got a little too early on the throttle there, kind of swung the car out a little too wide, probably wore out the right front there. Allowed the 11 to close up. It also allowed the 8 to pull away from me. Just got to remember to brake a little bit earlier, let the car roll a little bit more before I start picking up the throttle. Kind of did the same thing there, not quite as bad, so no pressure from behind, so no reason why I need to make these entries quite as shallow. I think with how tight the corners are, if you can wait just a little bit longer to exit, you can kind of keep the momentum up through the corner a little bit. Pulling away a little bit from the 11 behind. 11's pulling away big time from the 5 behind him. Had a moment there, just lost my concentration, drove it straight into the wall, hopefully. Didn't damage the car too much. 0x didn't hurt us safety rating wise. Keeping about the same gap out to the 8 in front as well as to the 11 behind, so try to start driving a little bit smoother, see if I can close up on the 8. 8's losing contact with the 2 a little bit. Looks like 2 might be slowly reeling the 1 back in. About every 10 laps or so, I'll be moving the brake bias back just to kind of keep it as even amount throughout the race. So just going to do a percent or so every 10 to 15 laps, give or take. Definitely pulling away from the 11 behind, so no pressure at all. It's like right now, 4th place is probably where I'm going to finish, which I'll take finishing where I start, but definitely going to try to see if I can close up to the 8 without abusing tires. If I can do that and the 8's abusing tires, and then it'll give me a shot to potentially make a pass the last little bit of the race and try to sneak into a podium. Don't think I have anything for the 1 or the 2, they're just gone. This is not my best track at all. Just never figured out how to get into the corners quickly, keep the momentum up, but not, overdrive the car. So I feel like I made a little bit of progress in being a little bit faster, but still, to be this far off in a fixed setup race, I know I'm losing a ton in driving. So it'll be something. I'll get there, keep working on driving, and try to improve it. Was originally planning to run the Open Series race for this, just did not have enough time to build a setup, so decided to devote that little time that I had to trying to drive a fixed setup car and get something enjoyable for you guys to watch instead of me being way off the pace. Are getting into lap traffic now. It'll be a little bit before I get to the car, but 1's going by a lap car, 2's going to be trying to work to the inside of the 12 through 1 and 2. Definitely losing a little bit of time to 8, but I feel like I'm not driving my best, so if I can pick it up, we might be able to start closing it down on the 8. Kind of keeping a steady gap to the 11 out back, so if I'm able to conserve tires a little better, can pull away if the 11's pushing it hard, that might open up the back part of the race. Try to see if I can catch the 12 in the right spot here going into 1. 12 cuts back down to the inside. Kind of frustrating that he stayed high for everybody else, and then he's going to cut down for me. Goes high this time into 3, but not the best way to catch them, though. Gonna try to do the best that I can.
We're outside.
Unfortunately, couldn't quite clear him off of 4, so it's going to put me in a little bit of a worse entry going into 1 and 2. Going to lose some time to the 8 that way, but overall not too much of a time loss. So 8 has really lost touch with the 2, which is kind of what I expected based on the qualifying time. So again, just got to get myself set up, try to get back to slowing the car down a little bit more into the corners, give it a better shot to roll through the corners rather than kind of sliding it and trying to get it off that way. 20 down, 30 to go, almost to halfway. Probably in the next 10 to 12 laps or so is when you should start seeing the effects of any drivers that have not done as good of a job at saving tires. Hopefully that'll be a time when, if the 8 has burned up tires a little bit more, I can try to close in on them. It's important for me to make sure that I slow down, like I said, because that'll help me conserve the right front tire, have a little bit more tire life left to get into the corners a little harder later on. If I can maintain this gap right now and do a better job of saving tires, then I might stand a chance at trying to get back there. I can't really have this gap open up too much more. Gap out back to the 11 has been about the same, so I'd say we're running right around the same pace, which as long as I don't make any mistakes means that I shouldn't really have to worry too much about a battle for 4th. Just focus on trying to get to the 8 if possible.
The gap behind is now 1.13. You've just done a 16.12.
I'll be coming up to halfway this time by. Start using the apron a little bit to help rotate the car center off.
Okay, Jake, that's half distance. Fuel levels are fine.
Move the brake bias back again a little bit. Probably in the next 10 laps or so, I'll make another brake bias adjustment to the car. Just helps me try to slow the car down a little bit more as the tires wear out so that I can avoid killing that right front, but also try to keep as much momentum down the straightaways as possible. Lost about 2/10 or so off the 8 in the last 4 or 5 laps, so not sure if the 8's picking up the pace or if I'm just falling off some. 8 misses the corner there a little bit, not sure if that's going to help me pick up any. Try to get off the corner, see if I can close that up. Gap holds about the same, so we'll see if it means the 8's driving it harder or if I'm just that much slower, which is a very real possibility. Trying to do some more short track racing to get back to enjoy, you know, iRacing as a whole, and as well as trying to take some of these driving theories that I've learned from, you know, last season of ARCA and trucks and Xfinity and see if I can apply it here to improve this driving. As well as I think there's things I can learn in this all the time that can translate up as well. Just trying to do my best to see if I can make any closure on the 8. Doesn't look like it so far. We're running about the same. The 11's actually starting to catch me, so I'm probably going slower rather than the other way around. That time able to make a little bit more closure on the 8, although I overshot. 1 and 2 didn't get a good entry that way, so could get to a interesting battle depending on if I'm catching the 8 or not. Could have a 3-car battle for 3rd through 5th.
That was a 16.18.
Laps are definitely ticking off here. Next time by, we're going to have 17 to go. Be almost 70% of the way there. He's definitely starting to have some issues a little bit. Feel like I'm closing up on him now at about the same rate that the 11's closing in on me, so it'll get tough if I can't get by the 8 quickly if I am able to get to him, because the 11 will definitely be getting to me. He just seems to be getting tighter, pushing it up, so might have been driving it a little bit harder like I thought, and wearing that right front out now.
It's now 89 Fahrenheit. Good consistency. Keep them coming.
Next couple laps, I'll probably make another brake bias adjustment. 11 is definitely closing in, so 11's either really driving harder, picking up the pace, or did a better job of saving tires than I did. Might have barely brushed the wall there on the back stretch. Got on the throttle a little too early, kind of came out of the corner wrong. Creates a bad 3 and 4, but we're still closing up on the 8. 11's made considerable gain with that mistake through 3 and 4. Make that brake bias adjustment now. Gonna be coming up to 12 again. I think the 12 might be, nope, the 7's also a lap down as well, so. See how the 8 gets to the 12. Easy, he's able to clear him. Hopefully the 12 stays high.
Your last lap time was at
Probably catch the 12 going
16.27.
into the 3 and 4, which is going to hurt our run some. Thinks about going low, but he goes high thank you to him.
Clear outside.
Able to clear him. Unfortunately, the 11's going to catch him the right way and should get by him going into 1. Although he had to take a bit of a lower entry, so that's going to hurt his run off, so that'll allow me to pull away a little bit. Lap traffic's definitely going to be a factor now in trying to either make moves or defend positions. Got 10 to go this time by. So not a ton of time to get to the 8 and try to make a move. Racing for 3rd like this would be the win. And gonna have a good battle on our hands. I think it could easily be a 3-car battle with the 11 closing up so much, so would say the 8's probably in the worst position out of the 3 of us, and then I would be number 2. So if I can get by the 8, I could still possibly finish 4th if the 11's able to get by me, but obviously would love to get by the 8 and just hold on to 3rd. But I got to get to the 8 first. Just got to keep doing what I'm doing, definitely making up time. Been making up time even without the 8 hitting lap traffic, so I know that's me with a little more pace. Just trying to roll this car through the center a little bit better than the 8. That's where I seem to be making up a decent amount of time. Kind of forcing the 8 to enter low to block that line, which kind of pushes them up in the center of the corner. Got 6 to go this time by. We'll be approaching 5 to go next time by.
16.18.
Get into the wall a little bit and see if I can try to make a move. The inside of the 8, not going to throw it 3 wide at all. It'll barely clear the 10 there. Just got to try to do the best I can to keep hooked to the 8. Fortunately, catching the lap cars at the wrong way for trying to get by the 8, making another brake bias adjustment now. 11's able to get through fairly quickly. Dive to the inside, see if I can try to look under the 8. Unfortunately, we're not able to clear the 7 yet to set that move up appropriately because 3 wide will never work here.
Clear to the wall.
Got 3 to go this time.
16.5.
Really got to start trying to figure out how I'm going to get around the 8 if I can. Just got to look for the 8 to wash up in the middle of the corner. I think is probably going to be the best shot to try to get inside then. 2 to go this time by. 8's doing a good job at defending the inside line. Give the 8 a little bit of a bump. 8's doing a real good job of defending the position. Looks like it might be a 4th place finish. Just going to have to try to set up some sort of last lap pass. Unfortunately, I drive it in a little bit too hard. Unable to get underneath the 8. Got a slow car down low. Looks like that's the 4. Get into the 8, don't want to pass them by shoving them out of the way, so gonna finish 4th. Almost ended up being a 3-car battle. The 11 just couldn't quite get there, but a lot of fun. Wish I could have gotten by the 8, but you know, by no means was a couple more laps probably would have gotten there. Just didn't want to move them out of the way. I mean, I easily could have done that and it probably would have been just fine. Would have been respected, but you know, it's not a short track move I like to do too often. You know, I mean, difference between 4th and 3rd, yes, absolutely, but you know, not enough to make a difference. Check the tires, 83, 87, so was starting to wear out that right front, but I was definitely driving pretty hard the last 10 laps or so, so you know, if could have kept the same pace, or you know, say driving, it might have been a little bit closer, but overall feel fairly happy with that tire wear for where I had been before. Just unfortunately catching the 7 the wrong way, I think, really hurt us overall. So 2 was actually able to get by the 1. Good win to him. Finished about 10th off the pace or so, which wasn't too bad. And really only, you know, half a second between the 8, us and the 11. So really good battle that way. Check out the results and see how those did. Should be a decent one. I should have tried to gain back a tiny bit of I rating that I've lost from the last few truck races, and should have gained I rating overall as well. That actually was a top split, so pretty weak field overall. You can see 1856. Your top rated guy was actually only a 3300. So for some of them that I've run, fairly weak overall, especially compared to the last one that I ran at Five Flags. But still a lot of fun. Actually, only about half a tenth off of the fastest lap turn, so not too bad. Sorted out right around the fourth fastest car on the track, which means I basically finished where I should have if you go by that. Again, just off a tenth off the pace. So that's where I'm trying to get to. In the open setups, probably would like to be more like a third of a tenth to a half a tenth off for myself. But overall, pretty decent. Able to gain 33 in iRating, so up to 2247. Trying to build back from all the iRating I lost from the truck races. Michigan kind of bit me hard, and able to gain 0.15 for the safety rating. So trying to put as many clean races in as I can to build that safety rating back up and give some buffer to be able to feel like I beat and bang a little bit and not run the risk of dropping down to a B license and whatnot. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Got to get you some decent racing there towards the end, especially the way we were catching the 8. Hopefully that was a little more entertaining than some of the other ones you've seen recently, and hopefully you guys learned something out of that. If even if you can't run anymore this week with how this is going to get posted, just for future late model races, it's definitely cool to see stuff. So feel free to leave any comments, like and subscribe. Remember that I'll be posting more videos. Stay tuned for those. And until the next time, hopefully all your laps are fast, your races are clean, and your finishes are good. Thanks for watching.